Lewis Hamilton is the best driver of all time. Max Verstappen will beat Michael Schumacher's records. No. I'm not a fan of any of them or agree with any of them statements. They're just opinions. Now, what we're going to be doing in today's video is something a bit completely different, a bit random for our likings as well. This has nothing to do with the debate shows or anything. I just had a eureka moment. I just went, you know what? This will be a really good idea for a video, and I'm pretty sure that there could be a few disagreements with this one. Obviously, we are a debate show. We like debating, and we got the help of you guys over on Twitter to help us out by giving us said statements about, or maybe give maybe opinions that you personally agree with, or things that you know that can spice up a debate between two said Formula One fans. Because we have seen some really good debates. Go from just nice mediocre level to through the roof, and everything just goes off on like F1 Twitter. So what we're going to be doing today is we've got 8 said F1 opinions or statements, like I said, from you guys. We're going to read them out, and we're going to be saying whether we disagree or agree with those statements. So yeah, and obviously, by the way, this is our opinion. These are what we think, and obviously, I know there might be a few guys in the comments that just straight in there with, whoa, no, wait, you're wrong with this. Just calm down before you jump into the comments, hear us out, and then we'll explain why we agree or disagree. Like I said, these are our own opinions. So let's kick off with the first one. And it comes in from Callum Rochester. So thanks, Callum, for a guy who always regularly comments as well on Twitter. And he says, pretty much, this is going to get the ball rolling straight away. This is the good one. Lance Stroll is underrated. It's just his quality that lets him down. Do we agree? Or do we disagree with that? And I'm going to say disagree.
Well, I'm going to say agree.
Ooh, he agrees. So, actually, let's go to you, Lyle, first. You agreed. Why is that?
I agree. So my reasoning for this is, well, firstly, the qualifying, I'm less so bothered about that. I mean, I don't really think there's a difference between his race performance and his qualifying performance. I just think as a whole, Lance is definitely underrated. We've talked about him for a very long time, and there's been loads of other YouTubers that have talked about him and things like that. There's a massive stigma attached to him, like a price tag is to a product. Lance Stroll has his stigma, mainly his dad's stigma attached to him, and that might be quite a horrible thought. His dad's stigma attached to him, ugh. Right? No, but obviously I'm not going to go into why, because we all know why. His dad bought the team, dad bought Racing Point, dad bought his seat. Of course he did. Of course he's going to. It's his son. He bought the team. Fair enough. Your dad bought the team. It doesn't mean you have to be in it. It's just all that following Lance around, and the unfortunate thing is that Lance is going to have this till the day he leaves Formula One, either as a world champion, as a multiple-time race winner, hopefully a race winner. He's already been on the podium, and he's already been on the podium and beat his teammate in that in that level.
Yeah.
2000, he's been on the podium in Baku, and he's shown that he's a good driver. Of course, he's had battles with Sergio Perez, but yeah, underrated. I don't think so much about the quality, but just him as a driver is underrated.
Yeah.
I think he is good. He definitely deserves to be in Formula One. We are repeating ourselves when we say things like that. But yeah, I mean, I do. And now I keep talking about Lance and I keep repeating his name. I just wish that stigma would go away about his dad.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the money. He's not a paid driver. He definitely deserves to be in there. Is he underrated? Yes. That's not to say that he's great. Because a lot of people, when they enter Formula One, of course, have to be one of the best. I'm not saying he is great. I'm not saying he's the best. And I'm not saying that other drivers who haven't cut the mustard or not in Formula One at the moment, such as, off the top of my head, Jean-Eric Vergne, for example, he's better than them. But he's in Formula One. He's good. The reason he's underrated is because his rating at the moment is crap. And the reason why people think that is obviously, as I've just said, because of his dad, Jordan.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why. He's obviously better than crap. He's not great. He's good. But he is obviously better than what people think. So for that, of course, I 100% agree.
Okay.
So Jordan, of course, first one to get off the bat.
Yep.
I'm glad you disagree. I do hope that we don't agree on many of these. Why do you disagree? Why is a certain Canadian, as you agree, overrated, and he should, not be hyped up anymore?
Well, firstly, I'm disagreeing with he's underrated, and I'm not saying he's overrated. I'm saying he's neither. He's just meh, and that's my honest opinion with Lance Stroll. He's just like I don't really have an opinion on him. A bit like Nicholas Latifi. I mean, I think it's just something with the Canadians. I'm just, nah. Like honestly, I'm just like people say, oh yeah, he's in there for his dad's got him an F1 seat. His dad bought the team. His dad got him into Williams. Yeah, but still, Lance did earn his way up through the ranks. He won championships. Whether you see that in a professional way or whether his dad bought his way through that again, that's entitled to that exactly, your opinion. But like, yeah, Lance's qualifying lets him down badly. Absolutely, I agree with that fully. If Lance's qualifying was better, maybe he could be doing some better race performances, because I think it was in 2019 Lance gained more positions on the first lap than any other driver all season long. So Lance has got a good race start in him. It's just he hasn't got a good qualifying behind him. So if he can get that sorted, then yeah, maybe we could see some good performances from Lance, and maybe I could go, yeah, maybe I could just keep an eye on him just a little, just be like, yeah, notice him a bit more. But like I said, I'm not saying that Lance is overrated, and I'm not saying he's underrated. Like I said, he's someone I don't really think of. I say, oh look, there's Stroll. And what? Like that's it for me. And that's why I disagree. That's why I disagree why that he is underrated, because I just think he's just nothing at all. So yeah, Lyle, have you got another statement for us? Moving on from that one.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, meh is a good way to sum up Lance.
It is.
He's just
meh.
out for he's just out for a stroll, and that's where he goes. So yes, next one is from Kirill, and he says, a race can be great without many overtakes, e.g. Monaco 2019. A race without any overtakes, or many overtakes. It depends on what circuit, firstly. I'm going to kind of, assume that it's mainly Monaco, like if there wasn't many overtakes around Monaco. If that was the case, I would say agree. But wait there, that's not my answer. A race without many overtakes, of course we were all thinking the same, which is Paul Ricard 2019. And if that is the case, it's a strong disagree. So that's my answer, Jordan. Disagree. What do you think about that statement from Kirill?
I'm going to say agree. I'm agreeing with this. Now, yes, firstly of all, there are races like, for example, France 2019, when there was very little overtaking. It's difficult to overtake, and yes, there can be boring races, but there has been some boring races where there are loads of overtaking. Like if there's loads of overtaking in the midfield, for example, like if a car is battling for, like, let's say P13, got P13, 14, 15, and 16. If they're all battling it out, yeah, it's good. It's good on track action, but they're playing for nothing. No points are on offer. So you're like, yeah, I mean, you could see it as exciting from that way, but in my opinion, I'm just you're battling for nothing. I mean, it could be on countback, perhaps. It could help you out later on in the championship. It depends on who you are. If you're like a Williams and you're battling for P15, then yeah, possibly, that could be exciting. But if you're just like Renault or Racing Point, and they said it, AlphaTauri or whatever, so it's just like, again, meh, meh. An absolute
word of the episode.
Word of the episode, meh. And yeah, like Kirill made a good example there of Monaco 2019. There wasn't many overtakes, but you had Max chasing down Lewis. The problem is that Max had a time penalty. That probably killed it a bit, because we knew that if Max had caught Lewis, Max would have had to put out, I think it was a 5-second penalty he had in Monaco? I think it was
5 seconds.
I think it was a 5-second penalty, a time penalty he had.
It was for the collision with Bottas, I think, in the
pit lane.
I saw, man.
You did. So it had that stigma around it, but at the same time, it was thrilling. Like, is he going to catch him? Yeah. So if there is no overtakes, let's say if the top three in qualifying was Hamilton, Verstappen, and Bottas, and that's how it finished. But you could say throughout, I don't know, there was like a 15-20 lap battle for that position. Like Max comes in, he does a random pit stop, puts on the set of the softs, and goes on to catch Lewis. Like, wow, like this is getting interesting. A bit like what happened at Hungary when Max was in the lead. Lewis came in the pits on the softs, I think, or the yellow wall softs, and Max was on the white wall tyre, the hards. And then Lewis went off to chase Max and caught him. It was incredible. And obviously that, Lewis was in P2 at the time, and just, yeah. And that's when you go, oh, is he going to catch him? Is he not going to catch him? And then when he doesn't catch him, you go, you know what? That was interesting. That was a really good Grand Prix to watch. So for my opinion, I'll agree with that. There can be races where there's little overtaken, but it's still a good Grand Prix. Not all the time. I'm not saying every race is like that. Clearly, 2019 was there was a lot of them. But no, I would agree with that. Lyle, you said you disagree with that. What's your reasons?
I disagree because, well, firstly, I mean, just want to kind of chuck that out there, like I was there, Monaco 2019, even if you are at Paul Ricard, even if you are at the French Grand Prix attending the event, nothing is boring. No race I've ever been to has been boring. The reason I say that, of course, is watching the race from home was boring. We just expect overtaking, and that's the thing, a lot of work is being put into the cars. And every time the FIA gets together to change the regulations and change the cars, it's always about it's always about overtakes. The clean and dirty air, the way that the air comes off, obviously the DRS, everything is tailored for overtaking. And yes, we do need some good overtakes. I remember one of the most aggravating races for me was 2018's edition of Monaco, the one where Daniel Ricciardo had not a very good engine. The engine was losing power and Sebastian Vettel was behind, and he could have overtaken him, he should have overtaken him, but he just didn't. It was kind of like, I think I can, but I can't. And since then I always thought, Sebastian Vettel, what a bad race from him. I don't know, that's just what we want to see as fans. I agree with Jordan, there is more to a race than just overtakes, and there's other little mind games and things like that they can play. But we just need that. We need overtaking. In like Germany 2019, for example, your race that you said in the video that we did with F1 Fanatics, it was all about overtaking. And then even my race in Brazil 2012, it was about Sebastian Vettel from the back, chasing down all the people, because obviously he started from the pit lane, chasing down to get to the front. I think he finished P3 in that race, incredible. And even Lewis Hamilton in Barcelona 2012. All I'm saying is that 2012 was an incredible year. No, I'm saying that, that they're the best. We all love overtaking. And yes, there is other things to watch. For example, like you said, Hungary 2019, of course, there's other things that make a great race. Mm-hmm. But we all want great overtaking. And that's the point of Formula One. And honestly, when you did the race review for France, and when I read all the results and, I saw everyone's opinions, and of course I watched the highlights, which by the way I've only watched once. I've never actually watched the entire race before. Totally. I think that's probably the only race of 2019 I've never watched ever, and it's never even on the telly. I think it's so crap. Just because there was no overtaking, and I think everyone said they need more overtaking, and that's what we needed. And then Austria, it worked amazingly. Also because Max dropped back, but it was just absolutely incredible for the overtakes, and honestly, that's what we need, Jordan. And yes, there's other things to watch in a race, but I'm saying disagree, because we do need overtakes, and yeah, there's not much to say about that. So, obviously, again, different opinions on there, but there we would disagree for mine. But ultimately, Formula One back. I'll have Formula One with no overtaking right now, then have a wait again until July. But anyway, so Jordan, please give us our third opinion for this episode.
Yes, so our third opinion for this debate is from Matt at Matt212YT. I think he's a gamer YouTuber, I believe. He says Senna is still the GOAT of Formula One. Now, in case you don't know what GOAT means, it means greatest of all time. You've probably seen it floating about on Twitter and stuff with various people's accounts. As soon as I seen this, instantly I knew what to put. Disagree.
Ayrton's great. He really, really is. And to some people he is, but I agree, John. I disagree, even I agree with you, and I disagree with that statement. Now, firstly, of course, when it comes to the GOAT, it's everyone's own opinion. That is the main thing, and I always say this on YouTube, and I hate seeing this, I absolutely hate seeing this, guys, just, I wish this would never happen on YouTube. Somebody says an opinion, either in the comment section or in a video, someone steams in, no. What? No. I'm honestly, you cannot say to somebody, if they say, in my opinion, if you start a sentence with, in my opinion, they cannot be right or wrong. It's their opinion. If I said to Jordan right now, if I said to you guys, the grass is blue, right? You might say, or man's never been on the moon. It is. Or Jordan is incredibly handsome. You would say, apart from the last one, we all know that's true. I'm joking. We all know that's false. No, I'm joking. Right. No, so if I said the grass is blue, okay, you would say to me, I disagree. But in my opinion, I disagree. But in your opinion, Lyle, I appreciate that. It's your opinion. The grass is blue. I That's fine. Your opinion is aggressive play. That's fair enough. But you cannot say to me, no. Because you just can't. You cannot say to me the grass is not blue. I mean, that's a fine line one because, it obviously is not blue, but it's my opinion. It's my opinion, I agree with that, so you cannot say anything. So, yes, that was a weird one. Right, so anyway, Ayrton Senna, of course, is the GOAT to many, many people, but the way that I look at it is, of course, the on-paper GOAT. The greatest of all time, on paper, on black and white, with the results. Ayrton Senna, incredible driver, really, really great. It showed from, obviously, we've just surpassed May the 1st, of course, the tragic day, the anniversary when we lost Ayrton Senna back in 94. And, it shows all the tribute, even every single year, obviously, from that day, from that year, we see all the tributes from the drivers coming through. He was more than a driver. He was loved. He was a god in Brazil. Obviously, he was a god. We loved him for the drive and for many other things. I remember in that one race, I've forgotten who it was, but he ran across an active track to save someone who had just had a heavy impact. He was incredible. He really,
Eric
really
Cormas,
was.
I think it was. Eric Cormas.
Yeah. It showed, that was incredible, yeah. Showed how much, as I say, the tribute, he's an amazing driver. But the fact of the matter is that he was only 3-time world champion, and people have overtaken him. People had overtaken him in the past. Fangio had more. And Alain Prost is his rival back in those days, a 4-time world champion. Now, again, you might think Ayrton's better than Alain. That's your opinion. But in terms of the results, 4-time beats 3-time. Lewis Hamilton has 6. And Michael Schumacher, the greatest of all time, on paper has 7. And, of course, that is the reigning, that is the highest championship at the moment. So, in my opinion, it's Michael Schumacher. He is the on-paper GOAT. He has the most championships on paper. You can't dispute that. But again, you can say, he might not be the GOAT for that reason. So in that reason, because Michael Schumacher is, has more than double Ayrton's results at World Championships even, it has to be disagree with that. But obviously, I very much appreciate anybody who says Ayrton Senna is the GOAT. It doesn't have to be Michael, and it doesn't have to be the most successful driver of all time. So yeah, if you say Ayrton, good on you. I disagree, but yeah, I appreciate anyone that says Ayrton is the best, because he is definitely one of the greatest of all time. And obviously, as I said at the start, it is definitely your opinion. So Jordan, what do you think about that? Why do you disagree? And obviously, it's not hard to think who you think is the greatest of all time. But yes, why do you think Ayrton is not?
Well, firstly, it's probably the biggest kind of debate / argument you can kind of have in not only in Formula 1 but in any other sport, in anything ever really. Like, who's the best sportsman of all time? Who's the best footballer of all time? Who's the best whatever? Like, everyone's got their own opinion. Now, it's the main reason why I say disagree is because there can't be a GOAT of Formula 1. Still, it's weird saying GOAT. Like, there can't be a GOAT of Formula 1. Like, what are you on about?
That's a sheep. The sheep of all time.
The sheep of all time. Yeah, the cow of all time. Because it's so hard to see like how the big drivers would do, like some of the best drivers would do in the modern day, or even back in the day. So like, how would Hamilton cope in Senna's day, like when Senna was driving the 92 in 93 McLaren, which weren't that good, but Senna still managed to win in that car. Could Hamilton do that? Could Hamilton understand the physics of that car? Could Senna win in the 2009 McLaren that Hamilton somehow managed to? Could Senna win in Alonso's car in 2012? That was a dog of a car. Alonso did well there. Could Senna do well there? I don't know. Like my favourite driver, Jim Clark, could he do well in the modern era? I don't know. It's just how you kind of understand the car, like I say. And it's, to be fair, like you could say, like I said, it's very hard to judge different drivers from different eras, because back in the 50s and 60s, there was a lot more to lose, like your life. That was on the line. You knew going into that car, there's a risk you weren't going to get out. Well, you were going to get out of that car, but you were going to be dead or severely injured. So you had to be more skilled to make sure your car was on the track, and just pray that the mechanics tighten that bolt just before you left the grid, or make sure that there's no like debris on track, because if you get a puncture, you've more or less, there's an 80% chance you're going to die. So, but that's a risk you ran. Unlike today's standards, it is still dangerous, absolutely, but it's a lot safer. Like, there's drivers not being killed every week, which is a godsend, by the way. It's brilliant to see. So you could say, oh well, there's less to lose, than there's not that anything. There's not much to lose at the end of the day. But like we've seen recently, people can still get hurt, severely hurt. So there's still some to lose. But like it's and as well, it probably depends what generation you come from. So if you grew up watching Formula One in the 90s, you could say Senna, you could say Prost. It just kind of depends who you watched essentially, or who you liked the look of, or liked the driving style of, or liked how they spoke in interviews. Like, prime example, when I was growing up, my favourite driver was Lewis Hamilton because he was always on the telly. He was always winning. Well, not always winning, but he was winning. And obviously he was the face of motorsport in Britain before, JB came along and, kind of went with him at McLaren, and that was a brilliant lineup. But Hamilton was just always there, and I grew fondly of Hamilton. And then when he left to Mercedes, I kind of disbanded away from liking Hamilton as my favourite driver, and I never really had a favourite driver until I discovered, how good Jim Clark was. But I wouldn't say Jim Clark is the greatest of all time, because, again, I don't know how he would do in today's generation. As a driver, by the sounds of it, he was amazing. He was absolutely incredible. And I know I've joked on with people saying, Jim Clark is the best of all time. Driving-wise, possibly driving-wise, but again, like, how would he do in today's world? I don't know. In the 60s, absolutely. But any other time, I don't know. Because, well, firstly, I've never seen him drive. I've just seen videos and what people say, and it sounds incredible. But not just him, there's other drivers like Jackie Stewart, Graham Hill, Denny Hulme, and other drivers. Can't think of it off the top of my head. In the 60s.
Nice save.
Exactly. Fangio, for example, people say Fangio is the best of all time. I don't know that. I've never seen Fangio race, so I've seen videos, and again, I don't know. So it's a huge debate to have, and it's a one that'll rumble on forever. But like Lyle said earlier, if you think Senna is the best, then you go with it. You go with it. If you think Hamilton's the best, go with it. If people disagree with that, or people say, no, he's not, well, again, that's your opinion. You've got no answer to that.
Yeah, exactly. You can't say to someone no. You can't, in their opinion, you cannot say to them. If they're branding it as facts, then yes, you can say no because it's not true. But if it's their opinion, and if they blatantly say in my opinion, then if we ever see a comment like that, if we say in my opinion or in our opinion we believe this, someone comments no, we might delete it because honestly it's ridiculous. It's our opinion, it's their opinion.
If people disagree with us, then we like that because it's like, it's another opinion. You disagree with us, tell us why.
But it's annoying though, and no. If you, I would rather you say no.
If people say we're wrong or you're wrong, it's like no, I'm not wrong, but neither are you. You're not wrong neither. That's what you think. But at the same time, if someone disagrees and we go, okay, then tell us why. Why do you disagree? And then they'll explain why. They won't go like absolutely hammering us. They'll go, no, I disagree because of da-da-da. Then you learn something. You go, I've never seen it from that angle before. Then
so
maybe
if you're going to write that in the comment section, please say no, and explain why you agree with that. Don't just say no, because it will be deleted.
Yeah. So in my opinion, I don't think Senna is the greatest of all time, purely because there is no GOAT of Formula One. There is no GOAT. But Jim Clark is the best of all time. I'm only kidding. Jim Clark is good. So moving on before we start World War III. Lyle, let's hear another one. Let's get the ball rolling. I'm enjoying this.
Oh, definitely. And if World War III hasn't started by now, I don't think we'll be able to start. I don't think we have the magnitude, but we'll keep trying. Right, so next statement even, comes in from F1 Fanatic. And it's not F1 Fanatics, as you might be thinking, it's F1 Fanatic.
Ooh, copyright.
Team LH. It's Jane B. Young as the Twitter handle. And she says, Daniel Ricciardo has the biggest smile in F1. Of course. Agree.
Yeah, agree.
No, that's not the full one. But unfortunately, his career has suffered from him not being in the right team at the right time. Now, this is incredibly easy. Great question, mind, or statement. And the answer is agree, or my opinion, is agree. Yes, he's fallen foul, so yeah, definitely agree.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. Yeah, I'm going to say agree with that one as well. Absolutely. Well, reasons being because firstly, Ricciardo is a quality driver. He is a really, really good driver. If you haven't seen our What If series where we took Mercedes away from the world of Formula One in the present day, you would say that Ricciardo spoiler alert, Ricciardo wins not one, but 2 championships, which proves how. I mean, obviously, he didn't win as many races, but if you take Mercedes out of the equation, Ricciardo was always there. He was always the best of the rest, more or less. In a car that was all right, but it wasn't really that competitive. And obviously, Renault, when that transition went from V8s to V6s, Renault went from being the engine to have to them being the engine to avoid. Like, everybody just went, I'm going to go to Mercedes, I'm going to go to Ferrari, I'm going to go to Honda. Like, they just left Renault for dead, apart from Renault having their own engines, and then obviously McLaren took them off the hands. But and like, yeah, reliability let them down. I think Red Bull, I don't know about Red Bull itself, but I think Renault as an engine supplier did let Red Bull down just a tad. And I think Ricciardo being at Red Bull was a really good move. That could have been his team. That was set to be. Vettel had left. Ricciardo had shown what he was capable of, and here he is. Wow, incredible! What he's doing so far. But here comes along a young Dutchman, and everything changed. Everything changed. Red Bull went from, Ricciardo, we'll give you this. We'll give you the best car. Verstappen. We'll give you the best car, Verstappen. We'll give you the Verstappen. Like, licking up Verstappen's rear, and just leaving Ricciardo kind of. Get out of here, peasant! Shoo! No, it wasn't. What probably wasn't as bad as that. I'm just exaggerating the point. But really, they kind of started looking towards Verstappen, which, yeah, you could say Verstappen's the future. But at the same time, you've got a really good driver in your hands, Ricciardo. So that was bad timing on Ricciardo's part. Obviously, he didn't know that was going to happen, because when Ricciardo was at Red Bull, I didn't know who Verstappen was. I never heard of him until he rocked up in Toro Rosso in 2014, and then he's replacing Jev. All right, okay, who's this kid? And obviously he goes to Red Bull and just wins his first race, and yeah, he has his moments, but Red Bull kind of favoured him over Ricciardo, and then Ricciardo got a little bit annoyed. He said it himself that, I knew Red Bull were going to favour Verstappen. I knew he was the future. He knew he was going to be number 2. He didn't want to be number 2, so he kind of he wanted to move to a big team, Mercedes and Ferrari. There was no seats available. So it was either play number 2 at Red Bull or take the risk and go to Renault. He took the latter and went to Renault, and he went to Renault at the wrong point. If he went in 2018, I think Ricciardo could have done bits in that Renault car, better than what Sainz and Hulkenberg did. I think you could have, got a podium, perhaps. Again, exaggerating, but I think Ricciardo is a better driver than Sainz and Hulkenberg, in my opinion. And Ricciardo is a driver that could, in the right car, win a championship. But now I think that's not going to happen, because, again, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So now he's going to have to sit out another year with Renault, possibly stay there another year, because I can't see him going off to Ferrari and Mercedes, especially in the climate that we're in now. So again, it's happened at the wrong time. Obviously, unfortunate circumstances. But yeah, I think for me, Ricciardo is a quality driver, absolutely. World Championship material. But I don't think he'll win. I don't think he will be world champion unless Renault have a brilliant winter and get everything together. Maybe not in this generation of cars, but in the 2022 regulations, if he's still at Renault, then maybe. But he might go to Ferrari. If this happens, he might leave Renault and go to Ferrari, and then Renault might build a world championship winning car. And then you're going, here he is again. Like, how unlucky can you get? And then he could turn into a bit of an Alonso kind of wrong place, wrong time. You could say, once he left Renault, that was it. It all went south for Alonso. I mean, yeah, different opinions and stuff, but hey-oh. But yeah, absolutely, I'm going to agree with that, and I would say Ricciardo has been at the wrong place at the wrong time. Lyle, what you said? You said agree. I'm pretty sure it's similar points to me, or anything else you want to add on to that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree for sure. He obviously in season 1, he said he was going to leave Red Bull. In Netflix Drive to Survive, I should say, not just season 1 of life. He said that he was going to leave Red Bull for Renault, or he wanted a new challenge. In season 2, it kind of became more apparent that he did leave because of Max Verstappen. It might have been running away from a fight or something like that. But nevertheless, obviously, he wants to, go have a fresh start. But mainly to do a Lewis Hamilton-esque kind of move, go to Renault, save them, and, promote them to, obviously, how Lewis Hamilton has done with Mercedes. It hasn't worked like that. Just a bad move, yeah. Wrong place, wrong place, wrong time for sure. And that's just life. It's nobody to blame. It's a little bit like, all these debates, for example, like we have, about paid drivers and unlucky people in the low ranks and things. They get into Formula One. It's just life. And Daniel Ricciardo has unfortunately fell foul to life. This little life's trick. Yes, he was at Red Bull and he did well there. He can do well at Renault, for sure. He can have a great season with Renault. But obviously the seasons will not be as good as it was with Red Bull. And I think that's also another thing just to add. This is where it's kind of agree/disagree. Because also, if Daniel Ricciardo came from Toro Rosso, let's say, he went from Toro Rosso, it didn't work out, he went to Renault, or maybe he did a bit like, what Carlos Sainz did in the previous year before he came. And he went to Renault afterwards. He might have had a better season than he did Toro Rosso. Regular points finishes, things like that. And obviously your podium would have definitely been up there because I don't think he podiumed with Toro Rosso. So yes, it would have been good for him, and of course he would have, right team, right time. But it's because he came from Red Bull, and exactly that's why. And also, just one quick thing, Jordan. I know we keep talking about, Ricciardo possibly going to Ferrari and things like that. That's the thing, though. If he came from Red Bull, there's a chance he could have done that. But after having maybe, obviously definitely a season, definitely 2, however this season pans out, and obviously maybe 3 and 4 and 5, why would the top teams look at Daniel Ricciardo as somebody to take on? And that's also another thing. He might not be doing his career very well, very good, being in this position at Renault. It's really, really unfortunate, and very much like a fellow countryman, Mark Webber, he might fall foul to someone who's just... I know Mark was in a good team, but he was in the wrong position. Obviously, he wasn't Sebastian Vettel. It might be very much like that, and unfortunately, we're looking like the second Aussie to partner Sebastian Vettel for a career that just isn't going very well. Some wins, but in the shadow of teammates and in the shadow of teams, no championship, and leaving still as a good driver. And of course, as she said there, biggest smile. We all love Daniel Ricciardo as much as we loved Mark Webber, but just no championship. And yes, I agree, wrong place, wrong time. Really unfortunate for the Honey Badger, but of course I completely agree with that first statement. Biggest smile in F1. So Jordan, what is, again, as you said, loving this series, what is your next statement?
So the next one comes in from Andrew Smith off YouTube this time. Shout out to our F1 community page. He says, Sainz is the best driver... Sainz is the best driver on the grid at the moment. Obviously, Carlos Sainz is becoming a very, very popular figure in the world of Formula One. At my team, McLaren, of course, I've really come to like Sainz. Obviously, him and Lando Norris becoming a good partnership. However, I'm going to strongly disagree with this. Strongly disagree with that.
I'm not going to strongly disagree, but I'm going to disagree. I think it's very simple. I think it's very simple that he is not. Jordan, I haven't got much to say on this. I mean, unfortunately, obviously, we show that you do love Carlos Sainz, of course. So, brilliant on you. You probably believe Carlos Sainz is a GOAT. But obviously, keep going. Obviously, it's your opinion that he is the best on the paddock at the moment.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that my opinion and Jordan's opinion, and probably many other people's opinions, he's not. Not much to say about that, Jordan. He does have obviously a lot of talent. He's a great leader at McLaren. Great results last year. Getting their podium as well, really, really well deserved. He deserved the 4th place until he was promoted. Obviously, 2/3 after Lewis Hamilton got knocked off the podium in Brazil. Love his career, love him as a driver. Got a great season ahead of him, got a great future ahead of him.
Yep.
Maybe one day he can be at that position, but unfortunately, I'm going to say disagree. So, Jordan, why do you strongly disagree? Not just disagree, strongly disagree.
Well, for me, comment section, just be careful with what I'm about to say. All right, I know what's coming, but Hamilton is the best driver on the grid at the moment. He is. Yeah. He just is. I don't care how people think of it as, you're biased, you're British, you're a fanboy. I am British, but I'm neither of them other things. This is from a plain F1 fan who can just see, Hamilton is a good driver. He's better than anybody else on that grid at the moment. Sainz is up there as one of the best. I would say, And in the midfield, probably him and Perez are like neck and neck. Like those two are really good drivers, absolutely. Sainz can win a world championship in like a decent car, but at the same time, could he do what Hamilton is doing? If you put Sainz in Hamilton's car, could he do the job that Hamilton's doing right now? No, I personally couldn't see that happening. But if you put Lewis in the McLaren, I think he could do better than what Sainz is doing right now. Not much, but I think he could get more out of that McLaren. I think that points gap, if you put Sainz in the Mercedes and Hamilton back in the McLaren for 2019, I think that points gap between Gasly and Sainz, well, Hamilton, would have been a lot greater compared to what it was in real life. So for me, it's just in black and white that Hamilton is the best driver on the grid at the moment. Again, that is my opinion. Andrew, if you believe that, then go with it. I would like to know why though. Tell us why if you are watching this. Tell us why in the comment section below, because I really want to know that. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but and again, there's some people out there who think Vettel is the best, and for me, Vettel is a quality driver. Absolutely, yeah, he gets stick, but if you look back on some of his moments at Ferrari and most of his days at Red Bull, like we referenced the F1 Fanatics video with when we did our 3 Grand Prix, which one we think is the best. Lyle put forward Brazil 2012, and that for me, if you want to show an old fan how good Vettel is, show them that video, that race. Sorry, like Vettel that day was above and beyond. It was just incredible what he did that day. In various other races, again, he has his moments. He does, all right, and he gets stick for it. We sometimes take the mick, yes, but that's just us being fun. In my opinion, I respect Vettel highly respect Vettel. And again, there's a few of you who think he's washed up, he's gone, he's done. That's fair enough. That is fair enough. He's not as good as what he once was, but the quality is still there. But this isn't about Vettel, of course. And of course, you think Verstappen's the best. He's got potential to be the best. Definitely potential. Same with Charles. That's the next rivalry. That is the next argument in Formula One. Who is the best, Verstappen or Charles? I don't want to stay on that yet because they haven't been in the F1 long enough. Max has been at the top longer than Charles, so maybe once Hamilton and Vettel have disbanded, those two will then come into the fold. Then we can have a good argument about that. But until then, I'm saying nothing on them two. I'll just give them praise, what they do good and what they do bad. But for me, it's blatantly clear. Hamilton is the best driver on the grid. That is my opinion. That's my opinion. Lyle, next one. Moving on.
Well, actually, it's funny that you mention Verstappen and Leclerc, of course, as you said there, the next rivalry in F1, because our next question involves those two, and it's from Aaron Dixon 2002 Twitter handle, and he says that George Russell will achieve more than Verstappen or Leclerc. It's hard, obviously.
That is a
depends
good
where he
one.
is. Considering he's a Mercedes driver, George Russell, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that he's at Mercedes right now, and if that's the case, and also as well, like Verstappen's most Verstappen's overhyped. Get in the comment section below. Verstappen is overhyped. Get in the comment section below. Wow. And Leclerc's underhyped, but I'm gonna say yes. John, I'm gonna say yes. What do you say?
I don't know. I like all three.
But that's not the question.
I know that. I'm going to say...
Stop being a people pleaser. Stop being a people pleaser. Tell us who
I'm just trying to think. I'm just... Willie, though, like... Do you know what? Yeah. What did you say, Lyle?
I said agree.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. Yeah.
Good on you, man.
Yeah, because, well, George Russell has got a lot of potential. Yeah, he's in a Williams. I know the car's bad, but Russell is a quality driver. Look at his junior record; it's incredible. It's GP3, Formula 3, GP3, F2 straight away, bang, straight into Formula 1. A lot of potential, very very exciting. It's frustrating that he had the season that he did in 2019 because he wasn't able to show how good he was, but he still managed to beat the well-experienced Robert Kubica, which I kind of knew that was going to happen, and I was looking forward to him having a battle with Latifi, who is more on his level, because like I said, Russell was prepared for F1. Robert had a lot of years out. That injury, getting back into Formula One, then adapting to the brand new cars. It was going to be a big ask. It was a big ask. Russell, all right, Kubica did score that point in Germany. Very unlucky. But Kubica whitewashed him in qualifying over one lap. So that proves that the speed's there. And again, we don't know how well he would do in this Williams because of what's going on. But hopefully we can find out. Russell's got, like I said, big potential. So does Verstappen and so does Charles. Absolutely. Yeah, I did say that, those two aside for a bit. I think put George in that mix. Possibly Albon, because I'm liking Albon more and more. Like, I am. Anyway. So yeah, but Albon, you go there for a bit. So obviously you've got, George is he is a world champion. He will win a world championship. How many? I don't know. And again, it's about being in the right place at the right time, because Max could make the jump to Ferrari one day and just shock everybody, because you don't know what's going to happen. But in my head, it's going to be get with it, Jordan. Russell at Mercedes, Max at Red Bull, and Charles at Ferrari. That is going to be exciting. And if those three can keep up their momentum, if Red Bull and Ferrari can catch up to Mercedes, then the title is going to be absolutely incredible. It's all going to be down to driver skill. And I think in one of the videos last year, I think I said Russell's name in something, and I can't remember what it was. That Russell would do better than a said number of drivers. So yeah, I can't remember what it was. But yeah, no, I rate Russell highly, but I also rate Charles. I also rate Max. But will he win more championships? At this moment in time, it's hard to call, but yeah, let's go for it. Yes. Again, we're British and we're biased, but who cares? No. Again, honest opinion, Russell has got a big career ahead of him in Formula One. Again, just hopefully he plays his cards right. He's going to get that Mercedes seat easily. Just hope it's not going to be too soon and just ruins his reputation, I suppose. But yeah, I agree. Lyle, what's your reasons why you agree?
Yeah, I mean, we don't normally, it's normally about Verstappen and Leclerc for sure. And my views on Verstappen are he's massively, the height from him is like the Burj Khalifa in terms of height, and he could fall. And the bigger the height, the harder you fall. That's not an expression, but like Verstappen, if he doesn't achieve what people are saying, he's going to have a massive whack at the floor. He's going to make a hole in Formula One. Like, we'll be left kind of wondering why. Charles Leclerc, again, underrated. I think he has a massive following, of course, and he is going to achieve a lot more in the more stable Ferrari. Of course, Max, it's a little bit unstable where he is at Red Bull, signed a 3-year contract. We were very, very, very shocked when that happened, because Max, ferocious line. We expected him that every single year he would be kind of jumping around teams to find out which one would get him, of course, the ultimate goal. George Russell, Jordan, the thing is, it's not really about where he is right now. I'm obviously going off what it says about, he will achieve, and of course he is, more hot on the heels, and he is a Mercedes driver, obviously at Williams at the moment, will drive for Mercedes at some day, possibly replacing Lewis Hamilton, possibly replacing Valtteri Bottas. Well, he's got obviously replace one of the two because he'll be Mercedes.
I think also as well,
that being said, of course,
if he teams up with Hamilton, that's the best thing that will happen to Russell. Work alongside Lewis. That will help him loads.
It will be, yeah. But he wouldn't be the leader at that point. But yeah, Russell definitely has the capability. And not so much thinking about will he be with Hamilton at this point, but definitely the capability. I'm just going to say yes, purely because of that reason. I'm not saying George doesn't have people behind him. I'm not saying he doesn't have a rating. There is obviously a lot of people in his corner, kind of more silently creeping up a bit, like what we're seeing right now, which is George Russell is going to achieve a lot more. As I say, all that hype, all that expectancy is at the top with Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. That's where it's all at. Max will achieve loads, Charles will achieve loads. George, there's a possibility. People are a bit unsure, so I'm going to lock it in and say yes, he is. He's going to win more championships. That's hard to say. That really, really is. And again, as we just said there with Ayrton Senna right at the start, about being the GOAT of Formula One, it's not just about the results that make you the GOAT. Of course, I kind of believe that it is. So that's why I'm saying, people like Michael and Lewis, or Michael Schumacher, the GOAT of Formula One at the moment, obviously until Lewis Hamilton comes along. But again, that's going to be hard, that one. Will I then just switch straight away? 92 wins, 7 world championships. It's Lewis. Will I do that? That's going to be tight. So with George Russell, Will he achieve more championships? It's hard to say right now, so I'm going to say no. Because I think Charles will. Comment section, guys. Don't not at me. Comment section. But will he achieve more in terms of like what he gets out of the car, what he, the race win and things like that? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna be bold and I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say that he will do. He'll be in that Mercedes. He will get a lot, as Jordan said there. Being alongside Lewis Hamilton, he will achieve a lot in that car. So yes, 100%. I am gonna agree with that statement. So let's move on, Jordan, to your final statement in this episode.
It is, and it comes from Sam O'Gara, again from YouTube. So shout out to Sam. Again, I see him on Twitter a lot as well. So yeah, cheers, Sam. He says, he put at the front. I think this is what he thinks. But anyways, Vettel will remain in a Ferrari for at least 2 more years and has a title fight left in him. Whew. Again, Ferrari, Vettel under. What's he going to do in the future? Where's he going to be? Where's he going to go? But I'm going to disagree with part of that, and I'll explain why in a minute when Lal gives his opinion, his thought.
You disagree with part of that? No, you've got to say the 100%, Jordan. I mean,
well, no, there's two parts to it because he says that he says Ferrari there for 2 years and has a title fight left in him.
So are we discussing the 2 years first and then the title?
So I'm saying he will be there for 2 years, but he hasn't got a title fight left in him. That's what I'm disagreeing with, title fight bit.
So I'm going to agree to all of it, because the thing is that if Sebastian, Jordan, is at Ferrari, he obviously has a title fight. He would never, ever, ever just be at the team in a sunset kind of environment. What do you think? What do you think about? Do you agree with that? Like, Seb at Ferrari will only be, full on the gas, 100% in the title fight. So if I agree with the first part, I definitely agree with the second part. So what's your 100%? Agree or disagree?
Well, firstly is the part of nobody will want to move because of what's going on at the moment. I think if you'd asked this if the season was going on, then yeah, I think possibly Vettel might want to walk away from the sport. But of course, he's currently having contract talks. Apparently, he's turned down one of the offers. He wants a multi-year deal. That's what he's aiming for. So if he can get it, I'm pretty sure that they will come to some sort of agreement to get that multi-year deal. Therefore, he'll be there for a couple of years. And again, just tying him down so that Ferrari don't have to get anybody else in to kind of get them settled in, because they're all over the place with the car, with having the staff all back to work and everything, like all running smoothly like it was before. But of course, everything's so up in the air at the moment. I think driver transfers and contracts, they want to get them done and dusted ASAP, get them tied down, and then just focus on getting everything back to normal, because it's such difficult times out there. So that's why I'm kind of agreeing with he'll be there for another 2 years. Absolutely, that's what he wants. He wants to be at Ferrari. He believes he can win another championship. But even if Vettel believes that, then absolutely he wants to be at the top. If Vettel thought he couldn't do it, he would leave. He would be like, you know what? What's the point? Maybe not.
Sebastian he has a lot more in him, definitely. Yeah.
He thinks he's got more out of him, but the problem is that Vettel might have it in himself, but have Ferrari got it in them to go all the way? And I don't think they do. So for that reason, I'll disagree with that completely. And if Vettel does win a championship, he will leave after that. He's gone. I know it. He will want a fifth and walk, because he wanted to go there and emulate Schumacher, win multiple titles at Ferrari. It hasn't worked, but if he can win one, he's won a championship at Ferrari. Not many drivers can say that they've done that. So he's done what he set out to do. So if he does it, brilliant. And if he doesn't, he'll sit back and go, you know what? I ruled the world at Red Bull. I drove for Ferrari. I drove for 2 of the biggest teams in modern day Formula 1. One of the best in modern F1, obviously, and one of the best of all time. That is a good career.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So he went there to emulate Schumacher.
He's sorted. He's fine. So if he wins in the championship, mission failed. Absolutely mission failed. But his career, mate, well done. You've done bits. But I don't think he will win another championship. I want him to. I absolutely want him to. because I like Vettel. He's a nice guy. He deserves it. But I don't think he will. I don't think Ferrari have got it in them to do it.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
Bang.
Will he win a world championship? It's hard. It really, really is. But I agree with those two statements. That's the thing. We're not here to discuss if Vettel's going to win a world championship. We're here to say yes, and I'm going to say yes to that. Anyway, the last question that we have, Jordan, and I've flicked over me, comes in from Louis Talks F1 official. F1 Louis as his Twitter handle.
Ooh,
and he says Perez should be Hamilton's teammate as he has the quality but never the right team. So Sergio Perez, the Mexican driver, Checo at Racing Point, should be Hamilton's teammate, and I assume that is at Mercedes, not Racing Point. So for that, I'm gonna say disagree.
I'm gonna also say disagree as well, because if Perez had Hamilton as his teammate, then Perez is blatant number 2. So therefore, Perez won't do much. What was the second part of the question or the statement?
It just says that Perez should be Hamilton's teammate as he has the quality but not the right team. So he's obviously saying that Racing Point isn't a good team for Perez.
No, I think. Yeah, I think, like I said, if Perez went to Mercedes, then he's just going to be Bottas 2.0, like he is.
Yeah.
He might win one or two extra races, but for me, Perez, his days of being that driver at a top team, the leader of a team, are gone, are completely gone. And if Hamilton, let's say if Hamilton Bottas leave, and they sign Russell and Perez, Russell's number 1, because he's the future of the team. Perez, for me, he's past that kind of... I don't know how old he is, but I think he's over 30 and all that. So he's kind of... He might be at that kind of peak era, but for me, he won't win a championship. I don't think he'll win a race. I don't think he'll go to a top team. But that's not me disrespecting Perez. I think he's a good driver. He signed that big contract with Racing Point, Aston Martin now, till 2022. And again, he could do bits at Aston Martin, but by the time the new regs come in, is Perez going to be able, mentally, capable enough to win a championship? I don't know. That's the thing. But like I said, having Hamilton as your teammate is a good if you're young. It's a good thing if you're a young driver. Like I said with Russell, having Hamilton as teammate, pick anyone better to learn from. But to be a leader of a team, it's a bad thing. If someone like Perez teams up with Hamilton, he won't do anything. It's like if Ricciardo goes to Ferrari, he won't be number 1. No way. Ricciardo is just back at square one, like he was in Red Bull. What?
He's gone full circle.
Yeah, you're not going to win a championship.
He could have gone easily just from Red Bull to Ferrari instead of going all the way around.
Yeah, just go back to Red Bull. It's easier. Red Bull fits Ricciardo's vibe more than what Ferrari do. You know what I mean? Ferrari are trying to be more modern, but I think Ricciardo's better suited to Red Bull. But again, he won't want to go back because Verstappen's there. So go to Ferrari. Maybe because of the pride of going to Ferrari, which, they're fair enough. He might go, yeah, I won't win a title, but hey, I'm going to drive for Ferrari. He might win a couple more races and then spotty dog. Unless Charles mucks it up and then, who knows, Ricciardo might come in and win it, which would be incredible, but no. So I think Perez is absolutely one of those drivers that missed. He missed an opportunity. At McLaren, it didn't go well for him. McLaren should have kept Perez for another couple of years. One season was not enough, in my opinion. Same with K-Mag. To be fair, if you had the choice of Alonso or K-Mag, you probably would choose Alonso. Money, sponsorships, yeah, fair enough. But even so, Perez should have kept that seat for 2014. He didn't do that bad, but the car didn't really help him out. You know what I mean? He had a better season than what people say. But then again, that's how it was back then. That's how McLaren were. And I think if Perez was back at McLaren today, then he would have been there for a couple of years. If Zach Brown was in charge, if there was another young gun, next to him, he could have learned a lot from Button. Button's still a quality driver, more experienced than Lewis. He's not quicker, but he's more experienced. So I think Perez could have learned more from Button than what he could from Hamilton and be a bit more free. But even so, that it didn't work out like that. But I think Perez is a driver that could have been. He could have been a world champion, but he's not going to be. Yeah. But that's in my opinion. disagree because he won't be number one. He'll learn a thing or two, but it's too little too late for Perez. Too little too late. Lyle, what do you think?
I think the main thing is, like what you just said there, John, about when he was at McLaren, is they wanted Checo to be the next Lewis Hamilton. And the pressure and the kind of the image that they wanted they wanted Checo to be, is Lewis Hamilton. They wanted him to be, a ferocious guy, obviously world champion already, a Lewis Hamilton figure almost. And also, that's a little bit like the same as Bottas as well. He had to be a new Nico Rosberg. So, just when you were saying there about, if he's staying at McLaren, he should have definitely. And also when you said about the image of, being Lewis Hamilton's number 2, of course Bottas, that's always going to be Bottas, and he's always going to be in his shadow. And Bottas is actually a good driver, but it's because he's got Lewis Hamilton as his teammate, and that's why people don't think that. And also, mainly, especially more so in 2017, I think people kind of forgot about it afterwards, but 2017, that Valtteri Bottas was supposed to be the new Nico Rosberg, and that's the thing. Why? So Valtteri Bottas was I think he had 3 wins in 2017. He was good, but it wasn't Nico Rosberg. Nico Rosberg would have done a lot more better than that, and he would have taken the fight to Lewis on several occasions. He wouldn't have backed down, and he wouldn't have done anything as annoying as Valtteri hits James and then moved aside. Obviously, Nico Rosberg would never have done that, ever. So I think it's just that, really. Valtteri is a good driver, but he's in Lewis's shadow. Perez is not a Valtteri Bottas' level at all. So it would be even worse for him to be alongside Lewis Hamilton in this position. I don't know. For me, he's not a good driver. He's not the best driver. If anything, he deserves to be alongside Lance Stroll. And actually, going all the way back to the start, when we said about Lance Stroll, I would probably say that Lance and Sergio are on exactly the same level. This is obviously Max is younger, less achieved than Perez. Of course, Perez, multiple podiums. Of course, nearly got that win in Malaysia 2012. Amazing career with Sauber, and obviously, as I say, driven for a top team of McLaren in 2013. He has the credentials, but it's not working out there. I don't think he should be alongside Lewis Hamilton. I think he's good at Racing Point or Aston Martin, and also the big thing is, John, is that he can be the team leader at Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Which again, is something that needs to be remembered. If the chance was to go to Mercedes and be alongside Lewis Hamilton or be the team leader at Aston Martin, of course the decision seems simple. Go to Mercedes because they're the winner team.
Yeah.
But he can be the team leader there. He can be number 1 at Aston Martin, Jordan, have Lance Stroll on his little finger, or he can go to Mercedes and play second fiddle to Lewis Hamilton, not achieve and also risk getting dropped and all that stuff, which we know a fact isn't going to happen at Aston Martin. As he said there, he signed a contract. So I think Perez will be better at Aston Martin. And also as well, just kind of last thing, cut the mustard straight on, is he's not good enough. He is not good enough. He's not at Bottas' level. Where was he in 2016? Obviously, he was at Force India, of course. Not good there. So, yeah, I disagree with that. It's a good theory. Also, maybe you don't like Bottas, but
yep.
I disagree with that. And, of course, from me, I'm a massive Valtteri Bottas fan at Mercedes. So there we go, Jordan. I mean, I really enjoyed that, getting people's opinions out there. I mean, how do you think it went over?
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed that. Absolutely, I think we should do it again. If you guys liked it, we'll do it again. Just had a random, I'll tell you what, this will be a really good idea to do. Just finding ideas to do, just video ideas to do for you guys as well, because there is no F1 going on. So we'll try and do something different for you guys to watch as well. But no, I've really enjoyed it, and of course, thank you to everybody who sent in their opinions. Of course, those who didn't. If we do another one, we might include them again because there were some good ones. I just wanted to include a variety of ones as well. Some of them were quite similar, but some of them were like, oh, that's quite good. But obviously, we don't want to be here all night, because obviously, having a debate is, we could be here for, a long, long time, especially if we are really, really passionate about certain topics or certain opinions in that manner. But anyways, this is where we're going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching as well. If you're new around here, then please like and subscribe as well. And like I said earlier in the video, comment below your opinions about anything that we've said in today's debate, kind of opinion, agree or disagree. And of course, they are our own opinions, so respect that, please, guys. And please respect everybody's opinions in the comment section below, because it is a tough time. You don't want to make any more people's lives more miserable than probably what they already are.
And no comments saying no. We've told you, no comments saying just no. Honestly,
there'll be a few people who know us who are friendly with us on social media that will go, no. And I know who you guys are. I know who it's going to be.
We know them, but if we don't know you, you're not commenting no, because honestly, it's people's opinions, and of course,
exactly,
as we said,
absolutely.
We don't mind no's, but as long as it says no, but,
Yeah.
and then you go into explanation about what you say, and of course
respectful.
we expect a lot of them to say no, Verstappen is definitely the best driver of all time. We love Max Verstappen. He is the best thing since sliced bread. The emperor, the lord of everything that's holy.
Oh, God.
And just like Fangio and Senna and Hamilton are like little specks of dust compared to Max Verstappen.
Oh, God.
Michael Schumacher he doesn't even deserve to, shine his shoes. That's what we'll get.
Exactly.
Get ready for that.
Like I said, just be respectful. Of course, everyone stay safe, watch what you're doing, take care of yourselves, and until next time, we'll see you later.
See you later, guys.